Hey, welcome back. Do you know one thing? Back in 2003, Google hit a massive scaling problem. Like they were running a thousands of applications across millions of servers, and managing all of that manually was completely impossible. So they built a system called Borg, and by 2014, they were running over 2 billion containers every single week using it. Interesting, right? So a year later, they decided to give the world an open source version of that idea, and that became Kubernetes. Hey, I'm Pratik, and I work with the cloud native tools every single day. And over the next 30 days, we are going to explore the 30 CNCF tools that power modern infrastructure. Today, we are going to start with the backbone of cloud native world, the biggest open source project ever, that is Kubernetes. By the time you finish this video, you will know what Kubernetes is, why companies like Netflix and Spotify mostly depend on it, and you will see it running live in a small demo. So let's start with the problem Kubernetes was created to solve. In 2010, the industry moved away from the monolithic application. So if you don't know about a monolithic application, don't worry. We are going to cover it up in upcoming video. So instead of one giant like program, companies started running dozens or hundreds of microservices. So Docker made packaging easy, and you could put each service inside a container and ship it anywhere. Right. But packaging wasn't the hard part. The real challenge come after. Like where do this container run? Docker song was there. But how do they find each other? What happen if one crashes at 3 a.m.? How do you scale the traffic? Suddenly spike. How do you update the without downtime? And how do you manage secret like API keys and database password? So for that, engineers wrote custom script. Ops team grew bigger, system became more fragile. Everyone was trying to solve the same problem in different ways. And the industry needed a standard solution. And that standard became Kubernetes. So what is exactly a Kubernetes, right? So Kubernetes or KSS, you can say it as, because who want to make pronouns like a Kubernetes. Yeah. So Kubernetes is an open source platform that automates deploying, scaling, and managing the container. You can say it as a container orchestration tool. A good way to think about it is a Kubernetes is like an operating system for your entire data structure. So it places like container exactly keeps them healthy and scale them when they need and roll out updates safely. So Google created it based on their experience with the Borg and Omega, and in 2015, they donated it to CNCF. So since then, Kubernetes has become the de facto standard for running the modern application. So it runs on the AWS, GCP, Azure, and on-premise data center, and even on the Raspberry Pi cluster. Yeah, you heard it right. So let me break it down, like what Kubernetes actually does for you, right? So first thing is container orchestration. It decides which container should run on which machine and pack them efficiently. Second one is self-healing. Like if a container crashes, Kubernetes restart it automatically. And if a node fails, it reschedule everything on a healthy machines. The third one is auto scaling. If your app get more traffic, Kubernetes spin up more pods. And when more traffic is scaled down to save the cost of your machine. Fourth is load balancing. That is, it distributes traffic across all the healthy instances so that nothing gets overloaded. Fifth one is like rolling updates. You know that. And the sixth is secret and configuration management. It handles important data like password, tokens, and config files safely. So now let's quickly walk through the architecture. Don't worry, I will keep it simple. So let's go to the architecture. So basically, this is an Kubernetes cluster components. You can see that. So don't worry, I will keep it simple. So first remember, Kubernetes has two important, that is the control plane and the worker nodes. You can see that the control plane is the brain. The API server is the main entry point. Every command goes through the API server, and etcd is the database where all the cluster information is stored. And then scheduler decide which node should run a pod, and the controller like it manages constantly check if the what is running matches with what you exactly ask for. So if you ask for three replicas, it ensures that only three replicas always exist. So then we have a node, you can say a worker nodes. So this is where the actual container runs. Each node has a kubelet which talk to the control plane and make sure containers are running correctly. So it also has a container runtime like Docker or Containerd. You can see that this is a container runtime engine environment. So which actually run as a container. So and the proxy here, like it manage the networking inside the cluster, so everything can communicate smoothly. So now before we jump into demo, there are four key Kubernetes concepts you should know: pod, deployment, service, and namespace. So pod is like a smallest unit, basically a wrapper around one or more content, usually just one. Deployment, it manage how many replicas of the pod you want to handle. You want and handle update and rollbacks. And a service is like it gives you a stable way to access your pod because pods come and go, but your service IP still remains the same. And then namespace help you organize resources. For example, having different namespace for dev, staging, and production. So that is about the Kubernetes. I think the orchestration platform that changed cloud computing forever. So we cover what it is, why Google built it, how architecture works, and why companies like can't live without it. So now I know this is was a lot of information, control plane, worker nodes, etc. scheduler. Don't worry. What was? Don't worry. So don't worry about memorizing everything. I think what matters is you understand the why Kubernetes exists and what problem it solves. So that's it for the video. And the next video we are going to talk about maybe container or Docker. And over the next 30 days, we will explore the entire cloud node ecosystem, monitoring with Prometheus, service mesh, with Istio, security, and a lot of things. So please like, subscribe, and share for another exciting video. Till then, bye bye.